When an alien menace threatens 19th century England and the United States, who will save the Earth from certain doom? Why, none other than Abraham Lincoln and his hand-picked team of legendary literary characters wielding steam-powered weapons in turn-based battles. I'm Jeff Peters, and this is the GamerPops review of Code Name S.T.E.A.M, exclusively for the Nintendo 3DS. Code Name S.T.E.A.M is a turn-based strategy game from Intelligent Systems, the folks behind the Wars and Fire Emblem series of games, which are similar in gameplay. Essentially, you're battling against the game artificial intelligence, but not in real time. Instead, you take turns moving your team units, attacking and or healing your team. Movement and attacks are restricted by the amount of steam each team member has. Once you've done all you can and you're reasonably satisfied with where your units are, you end your turn and see what your opponent does. These are definitely more cerebral games. The world of Code Name S.T.E.A.M is one of its bigger selling points. It's quirky, to say the least. The game is set in an alternate history using an aesthetic commonly referred to as steampunk, which draws its inspiration from 19th century steam-powered machinery. In this timeline, the world is being invaded by some alien menace, and it's up to the fighting force known as S.T.E.A.M, which stands for Strike Team Eliminating the Alien Menace, to stop them. S.T.E.A.M was created by, of all people, Abraham Lincoln, who apparently faked his own death so he could go underground and create this team. And he staffed the group with famous characters from literature such as Henry Fleming from The Red Badge of Courage, Tom Sawyer, and just to mix things up a bit, characters like the apparently not so cowardly Lion and the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz. Okay, I must say the use of classic, and likely more importantly for Nintendo, very likely public domain, characters added some personality to the game. It was weird seeing these classic characters as gun-toting alien killers, but I got used to it after a while. Anyway, back to the gameplay. It's not quite a strict turn-based system in play. Both sides can utilize a defensive system called Overwatch that, if you save enough steam, will let you attack enemy units that enter your line of sight, even when it's not your turn. It adds a nice extra piece of strategy, but you have to be mindful that the enemy can use it too. One thing you'll also notice is that the game is played from an over-the-shoulder perspective instead of the more traditional top-down view, which adds a third-person action aspect to the proceedings. Indeed, you can actually aim your attacks, trying to hit alien weak spots for bigger damage. You might even be able to position yourself within the same grid square, conveniently laid on the ground during your movement phase, to get an around-the-corner shot on an unsuspecting foe if you're really good. The whole package is mostly enjoyable. It can be rewarding when you perfectly, or not so perfectly, but just good enough, complete a level with the right team and the proper gameplay. The equal parts strategy and action make for a nice mix. The characters have a wide range of abilities, making them ideal for certain roles like scouting or supporting, but you can also equip them with secondary weapons to complement the team. The story itself is as colorful as the characters, even if the dialogue can get a little hokey at times. There were some curious design decisions with this game, and not all of them were received very well, at least by myself. On one hand, the third-person view is a different spin on the turn-based strategy game, and a necessary one since there are, those third-person shooter elements mixed in. Still, I'm not a fan of flying blind, as it were, in this kind of game. The whole point is to strategize. An overhead view of the map would have really helped in a lot of cases. You just never get that bird's eye view of everything that, quite frankly, you would think would be part of a strategy title. It can be very easy to walk into an ambush, or even worse, sometimes you just can't locate the objective. But easily my least favorite part of the game was waiting out enemy turns. Here's where the lack of an overhead map becomes a real problem. I get that the enemy has to take their turn, and I get that with the Overwatch system we can't really hasten this or skip it, but if you're going to subject the player to perhaps a minute or more of waiting out an enemy turn, maybe let me, actually watch what they're doing. See, unless you have a direct line of sight, a lot of the time you won't be able to see what the enemy's doing. If it's a large map with corners or other obstacles, you'll be treated to nothing but a lovely view of walls. Exciting! Are they on the move? Are they saving up for Overwatch? Oh, I don't know. I guess it's part of the strategy, but man, is it boring at times. adding to the frustration can be some, for lack of a better word, cheap elements. You have to be pretty aggressive when you play Code Name S.T.E.A.M, because the aliens will actually call in reinforcements, usually behind you, but sometimes even near the goal. And they're not shy about bringing them in quickly. So a measured approach isn't really going to work here like you might be used to with a turn-based strategy game. Also, alien Overwatch can be brutal sometimes if they've been saving their movement units. Hitting you the first time, then hitting you again if you dare move even an inch, and sometimes even a third time. One case, as you're maybe watching now, I actually went from full health to 0 health with hardly moving within the same square. There can also be way too much luck involved with your attacks, with some hitting better than others regardless of range. Again, I get it, this is part of turn-based strategy. Still, it can be frustrating thinking you've got an alien dead to rights, hitting that weak spot, only to leave him with a little bit of health, just enough left to kill you with using multiple critical hits later. Now, to be fair, the game does give you a few lifelines, so it's not unbalanced. Each map has multiple tips scattered throughout in the form of floating computer-like screens. Not only do they give you tips, but they'll also totally refill that character's steam. There are also multiple checkpoints that let you save your progress, providing a more convenient respawning point if you fail your mission, but you can also use them to fully replenish that agent's health and steam. Or, if you have collected enough coins and want to spend them, everybody's health and steam. It'll even revive characters who have been fallen in battle. Coins collected are one of the ways you level up your team, though, with better weapons, so you'll want to use them judiciously, but still, they can be literal lifesavers. As with many new Nintendo games that are coming out now, there is amiibo support in Code Name S.T.E.A.M. This support is limited to the Fire Emblem amiibo, that is Marth, Ike, Robin, and Lucina. Robin and Lucina are not available on the game's release, so only Marth and Ike can be used. That is, of course, assuming you actually got your hands on one of those characters, which are very hard to find, or have the extremely good fortune to find one in stores. I've talked about this before, it's going to sound like a broken record, but with every game release that utilizes rare and hard to find amiibo, especially exclusively, it's worth repeating again. Oh, did I mention that at one point you get to play as a giant mech Abe Lincoln? That was pretty cool. Oh, also, do yourself a favor. Save and exit out of the game at least once, so you don't miss one of the more interesting game theme songs you're going to hear all year. Overall, I thought Code Name S.T.E.A.M was okay. Wasn't my favorite game I've played in a while. It wasn't even my favorite real-time strategy game that I've played before. There were certain parts were enjoyable. Story was interesting. The art style, the characters were pretty good. There's just a few warts that hold it back in terms of design choices and how the game plays that just didn't quite, didn't sit well with me. I think my kid, in terms of kids playing this, yeah, my 11-year-old, I would have no problem with him playing it. My 7-year-old, he likes Fire Emblem. I'm not sure how much he actually likes the RTS stuff, but I could see him playing it. Yes, there's gunplay, a little bit of violence, but it's the whole Halo argument. You're fighting aliens, you're not shooting people and killing them, so that somehow makes it better than if games like Call of Duty, for example, where you're actually killing real people. In terms of whether I recommend it, modest recommendation, perhaps. Based upon what you've seen, make your own decision from there. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching our review of Code Name S.T.E.A.M for the 3DS. If you want to check out some more of our videos and our video reviews, check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/GamerPops, or click one of the convenient links below. And also, there's a subscribe button there. Don't forget to hit that to be notified when we have new videos available for you to watch and enjoy, or not enjoy. And if you don't enjoy them or enjoy them, feel free to leave comments below in the YouTube comments section as well. So, thanks a lot for watching. I'm Jeff from GamerPops, and we will talk to you again soon.